Quiet on the set. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. I'm DearMYRTLE, your not so retired friend in genealogy. Welcome to Mini-Myrt. We are going to be visiting with Miles Meyer, one of my panelists. Somebody asked me earlier, do you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. You need to know this guy. So we're going to have a good visit. Let me pull you up on the panel here, Miles. So I was joking. I want you to play Tchaikovsky on your baby grand. I think that's a full grand in the background.
It might be. It's huge right now. So
and I see that your not so elusive grandmother portrait is remaining visible despite the fact that you're using a virtual background.
Yeah, that's my wife's fourth great-grandmother. That was found at a secondhand store in Seattle.
Yep, that's an interesting story. So we are here to talk about RootsTech. We are on the road to RootsTech. I think you're probably coming from the farthest place in the continental United States, the lower 48, let's put it that way. When are you leaving for RootsTech?
So I'm flying out Tuesday morning, get there Tuesday afternoon, get a little time to relax before all of the speaker and media events happen on Wednesday.
Okay, that's good. I will be there, of course, for Mondays with Myrt. We fly in Sunday evening. But I have family there, so we have to do family dinners and wonderful hugs and stuff like that. So anyway, I will probably see you Wednesday, just judging by my schedule. But I want to share this page from RootsTech. And so let me share my screen and I'll zoom in. This is your dedicated speaker page for RootsTech 2026.
Right, yes.
Link to your website. That's where I got your picture for our promo graphic. Your Facebook, your YouTube. And talk to me about these are your presentations for this year. And there's an arrow. What are these? Oh, your previous.
Yeah. So I've been speaking at RootsTech since 2019 and even spoke at RootsTech London. So I've always given RootsTech permissions to post my videos or my slides and syllabus for each of my classes. So last year I did 2 talks, the deep dive in the US Census records and the Eyes Have It, Discovering Your Ancestors Through Voting Records. And I've done multiple different talks on German archives, French archives, Dutch archives, the European archives, and many other topics since over the years I've been speaking.
Well, folks, we're talking to not only an attendee, an in-person attendee, but one of the speakers. So basically, your first one is on Thursday, your first presentation, Discovering German Church Records. So this is for people who either live in Germany and they know the place where their ancestors lived,
or people who have immigrated to the United States, for example, and need to learn or need to find out where their ancestors lived in Germany. So we talk about how to discover your hometown, how to find the church records that are there, where you might find the Catholic Church records and the Lutheran Church records and so on. And we do a dive into some of the records in the 1800s and even back into the 1700s.
I think that's excellent. Good foundation work, because people are like, oh no, it's going to be in German. It's probably going to be in Latin and the older ones, right? It's the script that's the challenge.
Yes.
I was talking with someone earlier today who's working on deciphering what letter is that in the old German script, but it's possible. You get the hang of it. So location is important, and that's another one of your presentations. I think it's Friday at 12:30.
Yeah, so Friday at 12:30 is my talk on land records. So looking at the different types of records you might find that talk about land transfers, and then looking at a series of different land records for a specific parcel and building out the tree of all the information we can find, all of the owners and the family members.
Okay, and now is this on U.S. Examples?
It is, yes.
Okay. Well, I think the majority of the people that come to RootsTech, especially this year, are US based. A lot
Right.
of our colleagues that are from other countries have elected to only appear virtually.
Yeah.
So, but it's just as important in other countries. Sometimes the house numbers have persisted for hundreds of years, and knowing which house number can make a big difference for understanding the the fan club, basically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, and the fan club. That was a great segue because I'm just now reading Solving Family Mysteries with the Fan Method and Census Records. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that fan club stuff.
Yeah. That started with, I believe, the 1900 U.S. Census. There was a mystery person in a family. It was listed as a grandson. And so I go through the process of describing what's in the census records, how they don't really help me find out who this grandson is. There's some confusing situations in here, multiple marriages. The wives are all named the same.
Oh.
Their children all have similar names. And going through and looking at land records and census records and the fan club, the friends, associates, and neighbors, and finally deriving who this grandson is and how he's actually related to the family.
Yeah, it can be a big challenge. And so it's not just, a family Bible entry. Even if I've got names in the Goring family Bible, luckily they came over in 1848. But anyway, I digress. And I had no idea who it was. And it was like the grandmother of the wife.
Mm.
So the name didn't make any sense to me until I started looking around the names that were in the area at the time, and I ended up looking because of those land records and maybe 7 miles or maybe even adjacent property from a homestead that had been
Mhm.
inherited. Yeah, that's a very good class, and I know you will teach it well. Folks, you know why I know he will this guy's a scientist first. Let me share my screen and show you the family history guide. Now, I believe you have a specific position with the folks at Family History Guide. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I am the education director for the Family History Guide, and I believe I've been doing that for 6 years now or so.
Hmm.
Um, the Family History Guide is a great educational resource for anyone wanting to learn how to do genealogy, beginner to more advanced, and we have a lot of different lessons within it. We basically cover every country in the world and any type of record you can think of within those countries. And we link out to educational videos and other information online that you can, visit to learn more about those topics.
When I talked with you, you wanted me to do something. I hear you're trying to talk. I'll be quiet.
No.
Duct tape. When I talked with you during a Mondays with Myrt, what intrigued me about the Family History Guide is that there are learning paths for using the big four genealogy websites.
Right.
And explain why learning paths are important. You being an educator and understanding how people best learn.
Yeah. So each of the learning paths, if you go to the Family Search, for example, learning path, we start you out with the first thing, which is just how to use the family tree. It teaches you how to sign in, how to load the page, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move into things like loading memories and descendants. So each one of these projects within the learning path are distinct lessons that you can do. And so right now we're just on project 1 of Family Search, and you see we have 9 goals within that, and each of these goals is a very distinct lesson. So you don't have to read through everything. You can figure out what you want, and if you're just interested in record hints or adding sources or finding the recent individuals within your family, you can go directly to those and then follow those step-by-step processes.
I think this is why local family history centers are good because they've got people for in the case of Family Search, that can tell you what you're talking about. But it's on a website. So since they don't have a family history center on our island, and the nearest one, real one is on another island that involves ferries. So a person that's new, or even maybe they're beyond the tree part. They want to get into original research. Here's some advice on how to do it. Like Miles is sitting right next to you, and you're not the author of every one of these
Yeah.
videos.
No, some of the videos, especially in the German section of the lessons, are my videos. We have dedicated authors. A couple of our leadership, Bob Ives, Bob Taylor. We have James Tanner. Everybody probably knows him if they read Genealogy Star. And Angel and Scott Anderson, who are also speakers at RootsTech, along with others that contribute to the website. So there's a lot of people that work very hard to keep this up to date and bring in more information. And if you go to the country section of it, you can pick out any country in the world, basically,
Okay.
and learn how to do research there.
Okay. I will pick Scandinavian. Oh, how about British Isles? Oh, then we have it broken down to, you don't often think of Gibraltar, but you should. You're right. Isle of Man, definitely. I'm picking Isle of Man. And then you get us started. Of course, there's the wiki at Family Search.
Right.
And folks, those of us who are really old and used to go to family history centers before we had computers, remember we had to do old family group sheets in paper format, try to not make a mistake. And of course, on the pedigree chart, you make a mistake up there on the end, 4 generations back, and you want to start over. We used to have a thing called research outlines.
Yes.
But think about it. New stuff, even nowadays, new stuff is coming to light.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the olden days, it was getting microfilmed, or people had done on-site research and they knew about a record set that had never been mentioned before. And so as soon as you print something in a paper research outline, which the German one I kept like right next to my heart because of research. That was the basis. Those research outlines were the basis of the wiki. But the advantage of digital is when
We
new
can
things.
update it every time something changes.
Yep. They are as up to date, and you don't have to know, are you looking at the latest information? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yes.
All right. So, and then you give us step-by-step things to do for that, including quick links to various places,
Right.
like marriages. They had marriages in 1606 and 1598.
Yeah, so the quick links go directly to the online sources, the actual records. So they may link you to Family Search or Ancestry or MyHeritage or Find My Past or some other website where those records are there. So, when you get done with the lesson, you can just go straight in and start doing research.
Wow. Okay, this is what he does, folks. I wanted you to know that. Now, he is one of the ride-along partners, and I want to share the screen here. I went to Isle of Man, and I forgot to share my screen, guys. I'm so sorry. He's one of the ride-along partners. That means, he's a blogger. He's a genealogy content producer. He's an educator. He puts his effort into contributing. You're a local family history center director, aren't you?
I was a family history center director in Jacksonville, Florida, as well as Vero Beach, Florida. But we don't have a family history center here in St. Cloud, which is near Orlando. So
Yeah.
I don't get to direct a center anymore.
Wow, that's a shame. Well, there's always hope. I remember when they closed the one in Sarasota, Florida, which used to be very busy. They still have one in Bradenton, where I used to live and work. All right. So just for some brand recognition, let me mention this is Miles' genealogy tip. He's got his final countdown 5 days, 5 hours, and 23 minutes till RootsTech starts. And the links, folks, are in the description on this video right now. So this blog looks like it's more about your actual personal ancestors. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the Our Ancestries blog was a blog that I started, quite a while ago to write biographies about our ancestors. And so it's my wife's as well as my ancestors that are included in here. For example, I went and did for the anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, I went through all of my relatives that I could find World War II records on, and I did biographies for them. You can see the last one was 3 years ago. I tried to get apologize. But, it's there's so much stuff going on. And
well, don't apologize. Bill West, who coined the phrase cousin bait, said that, in one of his cases, it took 6 years for somebody to happen to run across in a Google search his blog post about their common ancestor.
Yeah, I just got a comment, email the other day for somebody actually here in Florida who's related to my second great grandfather in Ohio. So
you never know.
No, when you put these up there, that's what they're there for, is to help people find their ancestors and to contact you. And now my wife and I use that Our Ancestries name for our genealogy company, and we do research for clients.
Okay, he does research for clients. When you get to a sticky wicket, he'll help you. This is YouTube channel, and I asked him for this link, and he said, "Well, Myrt, I don't have that many blog or videos over here." Well, I want to know about German research and things along that line. I think this is meaty. Oh, well, and then of course there's your interview with Daniel. But it isn't quantity, it's quality. And as you look through these folks, he's got some pretty good topics that would help you. There's Jen and JD and a few others. Yeah. Love it. Love, love, love it. Thank you for joining me today. I think we've had a pretty good visit, and people who are going to RootsTech Live will want to prioritize your presentation since they're not recorded.
Right.
Yes, but they will, those who don't go and are virtual still have access. Explain it, if you would, please.
Yeah, so I always post my slides and my syllabus, my handouts on RootsTech. So even if you're not able to attend my classes, you're able to download the syllabus and then go slide by slide and look at the information that I would have presented. And in some cases, the slideshow online, maybe another 20 or 30 slides. Last year when I did the census records, there was a whole section that I didn't have time for at RootsTech, but I included them. So there's a lot, line by line details of the 1940 or 1950 census that are in that presentation.
I get that. Yeah, there's only so much that can be said during, you got to set up and you have to leave immediately, and there is a Q&A time, etc. Wonderfully generous of you to make those things available. Thank you, Miles.
Sure.
Appreciate it. All right, folks. What a great interview. Wasn't I lucky to get to talk to him again, as if every other week for Mondays with Myrt isn't enough? All right. Well, we're on the road to RootsTech. Find out more at ridealongpartners.org. This video and others will show under the recordings tab and also in the calendar of events. We're having an event, Miles, in case you didn't know. It's all good. Happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap.